Here they come. They're off and trotting on the inside. Egyptian Hawk came away well. Cooper Copper. And in the middle of the track, Our Pappy. Now 3 across the track off stride. Cooper Copper. Cooper Copper is off stride in the first turn. Here's Our Pappy. Now Our Pappy will power into the lead a length and a quarter. Egyptian Hawk trots in second. Yankee GI came away third. Whitney Lee with the leaders in fourth. Then a gap of about 5 to Fat Albert. In fifth, Marengo Rex far back to its Yankee time. Back on stride after the early miscue, Cooper Copper. They race for the opening quarter. Your leader, Our Pappy, a length and a quarter, 30 2/5. It's Our Pappy, your leader a length. Egyptian Hawk right there second. Yankee GI with the leaders third, Whitney Lee. In fourth, Fat Albert moves up in fifth. Marengo Rex far back, it's Yankee time. And Cooper Copper. They race into the 3/8. And the favorite, Our Pappy, leads by 2. Egyptian Hawk is right there second. On the outside, Whitney Lee. She'll go the difficult trip in third. On the inside, Yankee GI saves ground fourth. Fat Albert is on the move with cover. Marengo Rex is third over as they go by the half, 101 3. Our Pappy keeps a length and a quarter lead. Whitney Lee on the outside will now pressure second. Egyptian Hawk getting the trip in third. Yankee GI saves ground fourth. Fat Albert on the outside racing in fifth. Marengo Rex. It's Yankee time, the filly. She's on the move. They curve down the backstretch, and Our Pappy keeps a 2-length lead. Egyptian Hawk right there in second. Whitney Lee has to do more in third. On the inside, Yankee GI racing in fourth. Fat Albert on the outside as they race by 3/4, 132 straight. Our Pappy leads a length and a half. Egyptian Hawk, the main threat, now second. Whitney Lee, the trip begins to take its toll on her. She drops back in third. Fat Albert is forced. 3 wide in fourth. On the inside, Yankee GI saves ground. Final eighth of a mile. Our Pappy leads a length. Egyptian Hawk is right there in second. They come to the corner with Our Pappy on top by 2. Egyptian Hawk is out for the drive. They come to the wire and Our Pappy is under a drive. Our Pappy 3 parts of a length. Egyptian Hawk is charging. Our Pappy holding on. Egyptian Hawk second. Fat Albert up for third. The judge. Just about a 1/16 of a mile before the start. Here they come. They're off. It's Noble Leader going right to the lead. On the far outside, Copper Creek dries up for position. And along the rail, Hunction came away well. Noble Leader on a short lead, but here's Copper Creek. Now it's Copper Creek up to get the lead. Copper Creek, your leader, a length and a quarter. Noble Leader racing in second. Our Luke now with an early move in third. Our Luke is up to challenge Copper Creek for the lead. Now it's Our Luke on the outside, 3 parts of a length. Now Our Luke will clear to lead to the quarter, a length. Noble Leader is on the move in second. Copper Creek shuffled third, a gap to Hunction racing in fourth. Illini Boomer pacing in fifth, opening quarter, 30 seconds flat. Now it's the favorite. Noble Leader up to secure position. Noble Leader leads a length and a half. Our Luke yields in second. Copper Creek racing in third. Illini Boomer first over, now fourth. Hunction is shuffled back in fifth. Flaming Stewart is on the move second over with cover. And at the end, it's Strings and Wings, a lively pace. Now, on the outside, it's Illini Boomer up to grab the lead, a length. Danny Knox has Illini Boomer on top by a length and a quarter. Flaming Stewart will now pressure in second. Noble Leader shuffled third. Hunction is on the move with cover in fourth, a half, 101 4. On the outside, Flaming Stewart leads 3 parts of a length. Illini Boomer battles back in second. Hunction getting brought up with cover in third. Noble Leader towards the rail in fourth. Copper Creek is on the move. On the inside, Our Luke, and at the end, it's Strings and Wings. They've got a little more than a quarter of a mile to pace, and your leader now, Illini Boomer by a long neck. Hunction is 3 off the rail and driving. Now it's Hunction on the far outside, up to grab the lead, 3 parts of a length. Hunction is off stride, impeding Copper Creek. It's Illini Boomer, your leader, a length and a quarter. Noble Leader now comes back on the inside second. Flaming Stewart racing in third. Along the inside, it's Our Luke. And once again, Copper Creek is on the move. They come to the corner, and it's Illini Boomer on a short lead. Noble Leader is out for the drive. Copper Creek going a big mile. Down the stretch they race. It's Noble Leader between horses. Illini Boomer on the inside. Noble Leader will now draw off to win it. 3 parts of a length. Illini Boomer, a big effort to finish second. Copper Creek third. Field now moves into the clubhouse turn. Nearing the start. They're off. It's Be Home Early in between horses. On the inside, Ish Carrian. And driving on the outside, Bat 21. Ish Carrian on the inside leads 3 parts of a length, but Be Home Early is now up to challenge and take the lead. It's Be Home Early. Around the first turn, your leader a length and a quarter, Ish Carrian, racing in second. In third, Ideal Cam. Bat 21 is on the move. In third, a gap 2. First and Gold racing in fourth. Then comes Freddy's Gold, Michelangelo, and Sulin JJ. They race for the opening quarter. John Zawistowski has Be Home Early on top by 2. Opening quarter time 29-3. It's Be Home Early, your leader by a length and a half. Bat 21 now moves up on the outside in second. Ish Carrian is right there in third. Ideal Cam racing in fourth. First and Gold is pacing in fifth. A big gap to Freddy's Gold. On the move from last, Sulin JJ, and Michelangelo is far back at this point. They pass by the stands for the first time. Be Home Early leads 3 parts of a length. Bat 21 has had a difficult trip. He's parked second. On the inside, Ish Carrian saves ground third. Ideal Cam closing the gap in fourth. On the inside, it's First and Gold. The half 59-1. Be Home Early in control by 2. Ish Carrian racing second. Ideal Cam in third. First and Gold racing in fourth, dropping back sharply after a difficult trip. Bat 21, 3/8 of a mile to pace. Your leader, Be Home Early by 2. Ish Carrian, getting the trip in second. Ideal Cam now drives from third. On the move, First and Gold. Sulin JJ is on the move. And along the inside, Michelangelo. They've got a quarter of a mile to pace. Be Home Early on top, 3 parts of a length. He'll now feel pressure from Sulin, make that Ideal Cam. Around the turn, Be Home Early leads 3 parts of a length. On the outside, it's Ideal Cam racing second. Ish Carrian is right there in third. First and Gold now moves off 3 off the rail. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Be Home Early on a short lead. Ideal Cam is charging. It's Ideal Cam now making the lead and drawing clear. Ideal Cam leads by 2. First and Gold, a late move, Sulin JJ. In deep stretch, Ideal Cam is in control. Ideal Cam by 2. First and Gold, second, close for third, Sulin JJ. In third, Maru's Robbie. Flushes cover, he's second over by the half, 59-4. A live pace. Something's Brewing leads a tight length. JC Skip along right there in second. Kyler Bell, a patient third. Along the inside, Our Lucky Fella races fourth. Maru's Robbie is second over. Also on the move, Robert Wolf. Along the inside, Game Poacher. And now driving up from last, reserved early on, is Personal Property. They curve down the backstretch for the final time. Something's Brewing leads a tight length. Maru's Robbie now moving up 3 off the rail. Was third, and now he's up to challenge. Something's Brewing for the lead. 3/4, 129-2. Now it's Maru's Robbie with a rush. Up to challenge. Something's Brewing for the lead. Maru's Robbie leads 3 parts of a length. Now a clear length. Something's Brewing. Racing in second. Personal Property is in the game third. Final 1/8 of a mile. Maru's Robbie leads a length. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Maru's Robbie leads by 2. Here's Personal Property. They race to the wire. It's Maru's Robbie under a drive. Responds to the urgings of driver Randy Jacobs. Maru's Robbie by 2. Personal Property second best. On the inside, Our Lucky Fella up for third.
Five minutes.
Field moves around the club turn. Here they come. Picking up speed. They're off. Point Loma in the middle of the track, out quickly for the lead. In between horses, Emily's Award. And along the inside, it's Moonlit Hanover. Emily's Award between horses leads a long neck. Moonlit Hanover on the inside holds second. Point Loma parked in third. Sharon Mack came away fourth. Then a gap to Wildwood Fifi, pacing in fifth. 2 lengths back to Claire's Hope. Then comes St. Peter Miss, and at the end early on, Illini Prize. They straighten for the quarter. Moonlight Hanover leads by 3 parts of a length. Up on the outside, Emily's Award now. Up to get the lead, Emily's Award, your leader by the quarter, timed in 29-3. Emily's Award, your leader by a length and a half. Moonlit Hanover now drives from second. It's Moonlit Hanover up to reclaim the lead. Moonlit Hanover and Randy Jacobs, they lead a length. Emily's Award yields in second. Sharon Mack is with the leaders in third. Point Loma pacing in fourth. Wildwood Fifi. She'll go the difficult trip first over. Now in fourth, Claire's Hope flushes cover. And then comes St. Peter Miss in Illini Prize, well off the pace. The second tier now starts to take formation, and your leader Moonlit Hanover by a length and a quarter. Emily's Award right there in second. Wildwood Fifi gains third, the half a minute in a fifth. Moonlit Hanover leads a length and a quarter. Wildwood Fifi now pressures in second. Emily's Award is right there in third. Claire's Hope is second over with cover. Along the inside, Sharon Mack. St. Peter Miss is on the move. Point Loma is shuffled back, and at the end, Illini Prize. Moonlit Hanover fends off pressure from Wildwood Fifi, but now Wildwood Fifi puts a neck in front. Moonlit Hanover battles back second. These two stride for stride. They race by 3/4, 1:29.3. For the final quarter mile, it's Moonlit Hanover, your leader, a long neck. Wildwood Fifi, she's going a game effort. She's second. Emily's Award is right off the leaders in third. Along the inside, Sharon Mack now moves through. Moonlit Hanover now responds to the challenge, draws off as they come to the corner. They're at the top of the stretch. Moonlit Hanover draws clear by 2. Wildwood Fifi racing second, a late move, Sharon Mack. They race down the stretch, and Moonlit Hanover will win a length and a quarter. Sharon Mack up for second, Wildwood Fifi third. Top of the stretch. Here they come. They're off. 46 Volts and Laralag both out for the lead. On the inside, Broadway Vanity. It's 46 Volts on a short lead. Here's Laralag, 3 off the rail. Now Broadway Vanity sneaks through. It's Broadway Vanity on the inside. Laralag parked on the outside, 46 Volts. With that pair in third, far back to Exciting View racing in fourth. Cruise to the Moon, Cachet of Rubies. And at the end, early on, it's Jake's Misty. They race for the quarter. Now Broadway Vanity draws clear to lead a length and a half. Laralag tucks in behind second, opening quarter, 27-3. It's Broadway Vanity on top, under a tight rein to driver Ronnie Marsh, a length and a quarter. Laralag will gladly take the trip in second, 46 Volts right there in third. On the inside, Exciting View moves through fourth. Cruise to the Moon is racing in fifth. Then comes Cachet of Rubies, and at the end, Jake's Misty. They're single file. They race for the half. Your leader, the favorite, Broadway Vanity, by a length and a quarter. Laralag is right there in second. Cruise to the Moon now first over third. Along the inside, 46 Volts. On the move with cover, Cachet of Rubies. They went by the half, 58-4. It's Broadway Vanity on top, a tight length. Now up to challenge is Cruise to the Moon. Laralag is right there in third. 46 Volts racing in fourth. Cachet of Rubies now on the move with cover in fifth. Towards the inside, it's Exciting View. And at the end, Jake's Misty. They're bunching up. A little more than a quarter of a mile to pace, and it's Broadway Vanity, your leader, 3 parts of a length. Cruise to the Moon, the challenger, second. On the inside, Laralag is right there in third, 3/4, 1:28.3. Broadway Vanity now feels pressure from Cruise to the Moon. She now fends off the challenge. She's opening up the lead. It's Broadway Vanity now opening up by 2. Cruise to the Moon racing second. Laralag racing in third. Jake's Misty, a late move in fourth, final eighth of a mile. Now Broadway Vanity leads by 3. Cruise to the Moon. Here comes Jake's Misty. They race down the stretch, and Broadway Vanity in total control. Broadway Vanity holds on to win it by 2. The battle for second, Cruise to the Moon over Jake's Misty. They're off. In between horses, Keystone Mandela away quickly. Star Kingdom on the outside, and along the inside, Lord Jeffrey. They're now 3 across the track. In between horses, Keystone Mandel, but now Star Kingdom. 3 off the rail, dries up to challenge Lord Jeffrey. Still on the inside between horses, Keystone Mandel. 3 horses battle for the top spot. And now from the inside, Lord Jeffrey draws clear to lead a length and a quarter. Keystone Mandel parked on the outside second. Dynamic Trip smartly closing the gap in third. Opening quarter, 28-2. It's a battle for the lead. Keystone Mandel on the outside, 3 parts of a length. Lord Jeffrey digs in. He battles back second. These two now stride for stride. Dynamic Trip sits back, enjoys the trip in third. Star Kingdom secured a good early spot, racing in fourth. On the outside, Be Reasonable is on the move. Towards the inside, Wildwood Dixieland. Then comes Always Okay, and at the end, Native Bull. They're still battling on top. Lord Jeffrey, Dan Knox tries to conserve him some, leads 3 parts of a length. On the outside, Keystone Mandel acting as a prompter in second, Dynamic Trip racing in third, the half a quick 57-3. Now Lord Jeffrey leads a length and a quarter. Dynamic Trip comes through second, dropping back after a difficult trip. Keystone Mandel, Be Reasonable is on the move, 3 off the rail. Along the inside, Star Kingdom needs racing room, also moving up, Always Okay. They've got 3/8 of a mile to pace, and your leader, Lord Jeffrey, by a length. Be Reasonable now rushes up to challenge second. They go by 3/4, 127-3. Lord Jeffrey once again will feel pressure, this time by Be Reasonable. Dynamic Trip is right there in third, Always Okay, moves up with cover in fourth. Final 1/8 of a mile, Lord Jeffrey going a big eat. Lord Jeffrey leads 3 parts of a length. Be Reasonable on the outside second. Dynamic Trip racing in third. Always Okay racing in fourth. They're in the stretch. Lord Jeffrey on a short lead. Be Reasonable now finds his best stride. He's charging on the outside. Be Reasonable. A late move. Dynamic Trip. Star Kingdom on the inside. Be Reasonable maybe over Dynamic Trip and Star Kingdom. And that is a photo finish. Please hold. Top of the stretch, here they come. They're off and pacing. It's Montini Lopez away quickly on the inside. Rally Round is there. Also on the move early on, Fantasy Hill. Now it's the veteran mare, Montini Lopez. She powers into the lead a length and a quarter. Rally Round came away second. Fantasy Hill will tuck in third. Narrow Storm is racing in fourth. In fifth around the turn, Elusive Franco. Then comes Reveille Betty, Social Tatler, and at the end early on, Monday Millbank. They're in single file. They race for the quarter. Montini Lopez on top by 2. Rally Round right there in second. They go by the opening quarter, 29-1. Your leader, Montini Lopez, a length and a quarter. Rally Round right there in second. Fantasy Hill is with the leaders in third. Narrow Storm is unhurried fourth. Elusive Franco pacing in fifth. In sixth, Reveille Betty. Monday Millbank is on the move now, shuffled back. To the end is Social Tatler. They pass by the stands for the first time. Little change up front with Montini Lopez on top by a length and a quarter. Rally Round is right there in second. In third, Fantasy Hill. On the outside, Elusive Franco moves up first over. A patient first over, 59-1. Montini Lopez keeps a 1-length lead. Rally Round is right there in second. Fantasy Hill racing in third. Elusive Franco now gains fourth. To the inside of her, Narrow Storm. Reveille Betty is on the move. Now moving up third over to the final quarter, Monday Millbank. Social Tatler is at the end. Your leader, Montini Lopez, a length and a quarter. Elusive Franco now up to challenge in second. Rally Round bides her time in third. On the outside, Reveille Betty racing in fourth. Fantasy Hill will need racing room, 3/4, 129 straight. It's Montini Lopez. She tries to carry her speed from start to finish. Montini Lopez, 3 parts of a length. Elusive Franco racing second. Rally Round is right there and looking for an out. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Montini Lopez leads a length. Rally Round ducks to the inside. Elusive Franco far outside. Reveille Betty. Montini Lopez digs in. One final surge. Rally Round very tight for the win between Montini Lopez and Rally Round. Can go either way. That is a photo finish. Montini Lopez. She's owned by Richard Keebler and Michael Prater. Trained by Robert Bastian. Field of 7 pacers at the top of the stretch. Here they come. And they're off far outside. Bailey's Original out quickly for the lead. And along the inside, it's Carphone. These two now will vie for the top spot into the first turn. Carphone on the inside. Bailey's Original on the outside. Now Bailey's Original will clear to lead a length. Carphone will yield in second. Courageous Falcon came away third. On the inside, racing in fourth, Ty Cobb Hanover. Then comes Gazoo Bluegrass, Jet Class, and at the end, Dr. Franjak. Now up with an early move, Carphone gets the lead as they race by the quarter. 29 seconds flat, a comfortable quarter for Carphone. Carphone leads by a length and a quarter. Bailey's Original right there in second. Courageous Falcon with the leaders third. Ty Cobb Hanover pacing in fourth. Gazoo Bluegrass racing in fifth. And sixth, Jet Class. And at the end, Dr. Franjak. Not much change. Carphone is your leader as they pass by the stands for the first time by a length. Bailey's Original getting the trip in second. Gazoo Bluegrass now first over and driving third, but Gazoo Bluegrass on the outside put to neck in front, 59-2. Carphone now battles back on the inside, racing in second. In third, it's Bailey's Original. On the inside, Carphone now comes back, reclaims the lead, a long neck. Gazoo Bluegrass parked on the outside, racing in second. Bailey's Original right there in third. On the move, it's Jet Class, shuffled back, Courageous Falcon, Dr. Franjak, and at the end, Ty Cobb Hanover. 4 in, 3 out. They race for the final quarter. Carphone digs in, draws clear, a length on the outside. Gazoo Bluegrass begins to drop back second. Bailey's Original looks for racing room third. Now 3 wide. Dr. Franjak's making his move. Around the turn, Carphone leads a length. Bailey's Original quickly from the 2 spot. Now it's Carphone on a short lead. Bailey's Original is charging. Around the turn, a 16th of a mile to pace. It's Carphone on the inside. Bailey's Original is charging. Carphone digs in. Bailey's Original wears him out to the wire. Bailey's Original in front, Carphone and Courageous Falcon. Here they come. They're off. It's Sweet Caroline B out quickly for the lead. Hang On Liz along the inside. Now it's Hang On Liz. Your leader, 3 parts of a length. Sweet Caroline B is alongside second. Starwood Syrah came away third. Emirates Wellmanor right off the leaders in fourth. A gap 2 holding a good hand. Another gap 2 Night Skiing. Broadway Elegance. And at the end early on, Rush Creek Snow. They race for the opening quarter. Hang On Liz opens up by 2. Starwood Syrah racing in second. Sweet Caroline will tuck in third. Emirates Wellmanor racing in fourth. Opening quarter 28-3. Your leader, Hang On Liz, a length and a quarter. Starwood Syrah right there second. Sweet Caroline B is with the leaders in third. Emirates Wellmanor racing in fourth. In fifth, holding a good hand, Night Skiing, Broadway Elegance. And at the end, it's Rush Creek Snow. Not much change. Hang On Liz has had her own way. She leads a tight length. Starwood Syrah, the veteran mare, she's right there in second. Now the favorite, Emirates Wellmanor, will go first over third. Sweet Caroline is saving ground fourth. Holding a good hand, follows the cover of Emirates Wellmanor. They go by the half, 59 seconds flat. Your leader is Hang On Liz. A tight length. Starwood Syrah is right there in second. Emirates Wellmanor a pace in third. Sweet Caroline B racing in fourth. On the outside, holding a good hand. Night Skiing. Then comes Broadway Elegance, and far back, Rush Creek Snow. They've got a little more than a quarter of a mile to pace. Hang On Liz, the one to catch. Hang On Liz, 3 parts of a length. Emirates Wellmanor inching a closer second. 3/4, 128-3. Hang On Liz leads 3 parts of a length. Emirates Wellmanor tries to gain second. Starwood Syrah right there in third, holding a good hand. Racing in fourth, Sweet Caroline now driving up far back. That's Broadway Elegance. They come to the corner now. Emirates Wellmanor just muscles her way by. Emirates Wellmanor takes the lead with a 16th apace. Emirates Wellmanor, much the best this evening. Emirates Wellmanor wins it by a length and a half. Hang On Liz second, Starwood Syrah third.